Welcome to the BYU Tech Transfer Entrepreneurship Series. Today I'm here with Marcus. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. So my name is Marcus Tsukuda. I'm from Brazil, and I came to BYU in 2018 to get my MBA here. And I've been working on RootsView since 2020. That's when I graduated from BYU.
Okay. Can you tell us a little bit about how, just like the beginning and how you started RootsView?
Sure. So I started RootsView right after I finished the MBA program. I was looking for something to do something with entrepreneurship. It wasn't actually what I thought I would be doing right after the MBA. But then this opportunity came. I got to know the BYU Tech Transfer Office in one of my classes, and that's where I got to know as well the elastic paper. That's the technology that we work with from BYU, and then we decided to start working with RootsView.
Okay. Can you talk a little bit about like the elastic paper and like the technology?
Yes, so the elastic paper was developed by one of the professors here at BYU, Bill Barrett. And BYU actually has the virtual pedigree website that works with this technology, but we were the ones that we've been working to take this technology to the market and make it work in another platform.
Mm-hmm. And then to take it to the market, did you do it alone or did you have a partner or a team, or how do you go about that?
I do it with a partner. I have a partner, David Paris. He's working with me since we started this. And we also have a developer working for us. So the three of us, we've been working on this full time. Well, I've been working full time, and the others have been working on this part time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then, so how was your like experience with the tech transfer office, and like what value did they bring to you?
It's been great. It's been working. It's been great to work with them. I got to know the BYU Tech Transfer Office in one of my classes. My professor brought someone from the Tech Transfer Office to talk to us about what they did and the technologies they had available. We actually started working with the BYU Tech Transfer Office in the class for one of the projects that we had to run during class,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I first met Dave, and it's been great to work with them. Anything that I need, they're very helpful. They're very willing to help in any way they can, with contacts in the industry, with contacts with potential investors. So it's been great to work with the BYU Tech Transfer Office.
What was it like to like think about like starting a business as a student?
Yeah. So like I said, it wasn't something that I wasn't planning on doing right after the MBA program.
Mm-hmm.
I did take the entrepreneurship track during my MBA, so it was something that I was planning to do years down the road, like 5-10 years after finishing the MBA. But I finished my MBA right when the pandemic started. That was 2020.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it was there was a period there that companies were not hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them were even canceling people, like canceling the hirings they
Yeah.
did. That's when I thought about the project that we were doing in
Mm-hmm.
class. We had done a year before.
Yeah.
And then that's when I thought, well, maybe this could be something that I could work on instead of, becoming an entrepreneur 5-10 years after finishing my MBA. This is something that I can do now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it wasn't something planned, but it worked out.
That's super cool. How did you choose like that technology out of all the ones that the tech transfer office had?
That's a good question. For the project that we were working in class, we wanted a technology that was ready for the market because the project involved talking to people and testing hypotheses. So we wanted something that was kind of ready for the market. Mm-hmm. And when talking to Dave, he showed us the elastic paper, and then we decided to start working with that. As students, we didn't have many resources to develop anything, so we wanted something that was ready to show people working and test to see if that solved any real problem in the industry.
Mm-hmm. And then bringing it to market, did you need to get any like outside funding, or how did you like fund the business?
Yes. We did because I couldn't do the developing part.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a developing any kind of programming
Yeah.
background, so we needed to hire people to do the developing, so we could have a platform,
Mm-hmm.
a product that we could take to the market. That funding came from an angel investor. That's when I really decided, okay, we're gonna do this. That's when we found that angel investor that invested 150,000 in the company
Wow.
in 2020. Um, that's how we developed everything that we have so far.
Mm-hmm. What risks were like involved with like starting it, and how did you like weigh your options and like really decide to like go in and all for it?
That is a great question. There
Mm-hmm.
was the risk of failing,
Yeah.
of not working out, but to be honest, I never considered the risk.
Mm-hmm.
What I have in my mind is that giving up is not an option. I know, and I knew it'd be hard. Maybe I didn't know it'd be so hard as it is
Mm-hmm.
become an entrepreneur. I was an entrepreneur before. I had companies before, but it was different this time because it was a tech company, and that was the
Mm-hmm.
first time that I was working with a tech company um, as a founder. But I never really thought about failure or giving up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, there is a risk. I'm gonna be out of a job. There is a risk we're gonna fail. This company might not work. But I never considered that. You just keep working and keep pushing until we have the return we want.
Okay. Going with like your entrepreneurship and your background, could you talk a little bit about like your past companies and like how or past businesses and how those went?
Yeah. So I most of my career comes from finance. So
Mm-hmm.
I've been working with financial markets, stock market in Brazil since my first undergrad in Brazil, 2009, 2010. I started even before that while I was still studying, doing my undergrad. That's when I started doing working with stock market and finance. So the two companies that I created in Brazil, they were related to finance. One of them was a stock research company back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
So it was something that I knew because I had worked with that before. And the other one was a merger and acquisitions consulting company right after that, and prior to coming to the MBA.
Okay, so after choosing the technology, what were the first steps that you took?
So we had to develop something more tangible, like a real product to test the hypothesis that we could solve some problems in the industry, right? So the first thing we did after choosing the technology and after having the funding to do it as well,
Mm-hmm.
we got a developer and we worked on developing the platform that we have today. Um, so we started actually as a family tree visualization tool, and today we're a lot more than that. But we developed something basic and something that we could just test that if people would need or would pay for that. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how we did it. We chose the technology and developed the platform.
So how did like the patenting and licensing work with the tech transfer office?
So the patents, all the paperwork is taken care of by the BYU Tech Transfer Office, and we do pay for it in the licensing when we license the technology. But we don't have to worry about, all the paperwork and all the process of doing it. The BYU Tech Transfer Office does it all.
Wow. Okay, and then as an entrepreneur, what do you think are some like good traits or like even just personality types to be a successful entrepreneur?
Oh, that's a good question. I think entrepreneurs have different personalities. It's hard to say if one personality is going to be more successful than the other. The only thing that I can tell you is hard work and discipline. That's what's
Mm-hmm.
going to count when you become an entrepreneur. You've got to have discipline and you've got to work hard and work smart as well, because you're going to face a lot of problems in the process.
Mm-hmm.
And if you get discouraged, you're going to give up.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of grit involved.
Yeah.
That's something actually that the angel investor, when I talked to him about investing in the company, that's what he wanted to know. Like, well, how
Mm-hmm.
much grit do you have? Like, if you're gonna face a problem, because you're gonna face a lot of
Yeah.
problems, how are you gonna react? You know, and I think that's the most important thing about being an entrepreneur. I think it's more hard work and discipline that counts a lot more.
Yeah. Have you had any like past failures or any issues that you think you've learned a lot from and that have helped you with RootsView?
Definitely. The entire process is a learning process. You're gonna have a lot of mistakes in the process. I've done some, and if you look at the platform, I think the platform reflects just that. We started as a family tree visualization tool, and today we are a complete platform focused on helping people getting to know their ancestors better. So it's a huge change, and that change happened because we made some mistakes in the process and we learned from them. And that's the most important thing about being an entrepreneur as well. You learn about your mistakes and you change, and you find a solution of the problems doing that.
Do you have any like specifics with RootsView, like how you've like pivoted or anything because issues have come up?
Yeah, so when we first hit the market with the visualization tool, we found out that people wanted more. The problem wasn't only how they navigated their family tree. They also wanted to interact more with the platform. They wanted to create their family tree. They also wanted to upload documents or write memories. So everything we developed because of that. We went to the market, we tested that, we found out that they wanted more, then we developed everything else. Another important thing that I learned about RootsView was that most of the time I was trying to bootstrap it, right? Like I was trying to generate cash enough so I wouldn't have to raise any more rounds of financing, any more money. And of course, looking back, it's easier to see. But if I could go back 6 months, I would have started looking for financing before that.
Yeah, that makes sense. What pivots have you made over the course of your business?
There are a few that I can say were very important to get to where we are today. I think the first one was definitely developing the platform to be a complete platform where people could come and do create their family trees and not only see their family trees. And we also had an upload tool. People could upload their family tree if they download their family tree from other platforms. That's definitely one of the major ones we had. Another one was focusing on a specific target audience, because we started focusing. Well, we didn't have a focus really. We hit the entire market, and everyone. The beginning was everyone that was doing their family history or genealogy, and today we are targeting people who are 25 to 45, 50 years old, no older than that. People that are starting their family trees or that already have started, but they want to build everything from the beginning. And a recent pivot that we made was actually not having the uploading tool anymore.
Wow.
Because our focus has always, have become actually helping people get to know their ancestors better. And if you think about it, if you upload their family tree from other platforms, people are actually not going to have that focus. They're going to want to grow their family tree again. And we want people to go ancestor by ancestor and create that meaningful connection with them.
What do you think is like the number one thing that differentiates you from the other like family history platforms?
I would say the user experience, starting with the family tree navigation tool. The elastic paper works very well when you're navigating your cell phone. And if you think about it, people who are 25 to 45, 50 years old, they spend a lot of time in their cell phones. So it'd be easier to navigate their family tree and do their genealogy while they're on their phones, instead of just sitting down on a desktop, on a computer and doing there. So the user experience is definitely different there. And we have that specific focus on helping people get to know their ancestors better. So we build everything around that.
What's your like long-term like vision or like goals for the company or for the technology?
We definitely want people to use this technology, or not only the technology but the platform more. That's another thing we tell our users. You don't have to spend an hour or two doing your family history or genealogy a week. If you spend 15 to 30 minutes, that's something that's already something,
Yeah.
and it's going to make a lot of difference for you already. So we want younger people to understand that it doesn't matter if your relative has done all your genealogy or family history, you can do it again, and you can do it with this specific focus of getting to know your ancestors. Long-term vision. If we could have thousands and thousands of people, of younger people, using our platform for that purpose, that's I think that would be great. That's our goal.
Yeah. Do you have any advice for creating a long-term vision or like exit plan for a startup for any students that were interested in that?
Well, I think you need to think about it right in the beginning, and I think you should choose something that if you don't have an exit in the future, you'd be perfectly comfortable working on the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Okay? And so it has to be something that you like. But you do have to think about that long-term vision since the beginning. And it's okay if it changes in the process while you're working on your startup and building everything. But you do have to start thinking about it since the beginning of the project.
So do you think that passion is like a big part of starting a business?
Yes, definitely. Because you're going to have a lot of problems in that process. A lot of problems to solve. And if you don't like working on it, then it's going to be really, really discouraging for you.
Yeah.
So you have to, understand that you have to do something that you like. That's what I think. Do something that you like in an industry that you like. Because if you don't have an exit in the future, you're going to be totally okay with working on it.
So have you always had like a passion for family history, or did it just come with starting the business and then it came?
I've been working on my family history and genealogy since I was a teenager. My genealogy is very interesting. I have half of my family coming from Italy, half of the other half coming from Japan, and I've always been interested about knowing, my origins, knowing where my ancestors came from. So this is something that I always like to do, but it really became a passion after I started working on RootsView.
Do you have any other just advice for students that want to start a business but kind of have like no idea where to start?
Find an industry and find a problem to solve. I think I would start there. If you find an industry that you like and find a problem to work on and come up with solutions, I think that's the best way to do it. If you don't have any idea, the BYU Tech Transfer Office is a good way to start because they already have technologies developed. You might not have the same process of creating that business if you start with the industry and the problem that you want to work on, but you can take that technology and bring to an industry and work within that industry to find the problems they can solve there.
Very good. Okay. If you had 1 minute to give the most vital pieces of advice to students, what would it be?
Don't be afraid of making mistakes. And once you make the mistake, learn from it and move forward. I think that's a very, very valuable lesson when you're an entrepreneur. And it's going to be easier to look back and see all the mistakes that you made in the past, in the business, and don't regret that. Just learn from them and apply what you learned moving forward and trying to change whatever you need to be successful.
Thank you so much for being here, Marcus.
Oh, thank you.
I hope that everyone got something out of that. I know I did. And we'll see you in the next video.